from Kmov, this is News 4 at 10.
In just the last few minutes, we're seeing road crews diverting traffic out of the northbound lanes on Interstate 55 as water continues to become dangerously high there.
Yeah, that's right. And Highway Patrol has just confirmed those northbound lanes are closed to traffic on 55. Sky Zoom 4 flying over the area where it appears traffic is being diverted at 141 in Arnold. This is all despite efforts by MoDOT to sandbag the area and hold that water back. Good evening, I'm Courtney Bryant.
And I'm Steve Savard. So far, lanes are still open on the southbound side there. This as we're still waiting for the Merrimack River to crest in Valley Park. We'll have a live report out of that area as part of our News 4 team coverage tonight.
News 4 crews are tackling this flooding from the ground where our Corey Stark was trapped in tonight's traffic as well as from up above. That's where we will start our team coverage now with forewarned Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton joining us from Sky Zoom over I-55 and Merrimack Bottom Road. Steve.
Yeah, we've got a brand new update for you too. This has just happened in the past several minutes here. It looks like Highway Patrol is shutting down southbound Interstate 55. Traffic southbound on Interstate 55 right near Merrimack Bottom Road. As you approach the Merrimack River, the bridge, it is covered in water, and we have been witnessing those headlights you see that are stopped right there are southbound cars that are backed up all the way to 270 and 255 and where 55 all meet, all the way down here to where the Merrimack River has flooded out. It looks like Interstate 55 is now shut down in both directions. We know that the northbound lanes have been shut down by Highway Patrol and they're diverting traffic, although we actually haven't seen traffic diverted yet to 141. They've just stopped them. But we assume that that's going to happen at some point to get them off of 55. The question here is, what are you going to do with these southbound travelers who are stuck on 55 at the foot of water where we had seen people driving across the water? The floodwaters were actually on the lanes. Now you see no one is moving, and the big question will be, how do they get these folks home safely tonight? We're going to stay on top of it as the Merrimack continues to rise and flood the Merrimack River here at Interstate 55 as you look at those southbound travelers stuck. What a traffic nightmare.
All right, Steve, thank you very much. Drivers were stuck for hours this afternoon as well, trying to make their way to Jefferson County as traffic on 55 was at a standstill. Our Corey Stark was among those stuck in that traffic. He joins us from 255 and 55.
Yeah, Steve, frustration and helplessness is what so many drivers are feeling tonight. And as what Steve Templeton just told us, with the southbound lanes now being closed, those feelings will be exacerbated tonight with so many of these drivers. And here's a live look from the ground of what 55 southbound looks like. And you can see just bumper to bumper, a lot of congestion. And we want to take you back to Sky Zoom 4 just to look from that view just how vast this traffic is. And it's not just Interstate 55 that has been a problem. You had mentioned just a personal experience that I had. It's on Lime Ferry Road. There was just so much congestion on Lime Ferry Road. We were heading southbound toward Arnold on Lime Ferry Road when they had cut that off at Merrimack Bottoms Road, and then we were diverted back to northbound. So very frustrating for a lot of different of these roads along Interstate 55. And here's also some of this video that we're showing you from MoDOT earlier as they tried to keep water off of Interstate 55. But as we're hearing, a lot of those efforts tonight not working as there is water over Interstate 55. As you said, drivers very frustrated. We talked to one a little bit earlier. Take a listen.
Thank God my family got through it. But I mean, there's still a lot of families and there's nowhere you can go, you know? I mean, it's water, but, you know, if there's enough of it, you can't do anything.
He summarized it pretty well there. A lot of drivers we've talked to are just simply throwing up their hands, not knowing what they're going to do tonight, if they're going to make it home. They feel kind of like they're stuck on an island and they can't get over the Merrimack River. So this is obviously a story we'll continue to track. For right now, we'll send it back to you guys.
All right, Corey, thank you. And the Merrimack is just hours away from cresting at record levels. Homes and businesses were evacuated earlier today in Valley Park as that city waits to see if the levees will hold. News 4's Alexis Zotos is live at 141 and 44. Alexis, where that intersection is underwater, and what's the biggest concern right now?
You know, Courtney, This is still a pretty unbelievable sight to see here at 141 and 44. This historic flooding, just to give you perspective, I mean, you can see the stoplights that are almost submerged, and they're still expected to get about another half a foot of water here as the rivers crest between midnight and 6 a.m. tomorrow. Now, we want to get you a look at some of the aerial views from Sky Zoom 4 earlier today, which really gives you a perspective on the magnitude of this flooding. Right now, those flood walls are holding back the water from homes on the north side of the Merrimack. The mayor tells me the Corps of Engineers is confident that levee will hold. They did reinforce it at the bottom with sandbags, as well as adding another inch or so of sandbags to the top. The river is expected to crest at 44.1 feet. That is well over the 93 flood. The record, though, was back in '82, and that was at 39 feet. Now, once this river does crest, they do expect it to stay at that level for about 6 hours. And once it is safe, then people will be welcomed back to their homes. But this intersection, well, it's going to be a trouble spot for some time now. Now, meanwhile, down the river in Jefferson County, the city of Arnold is preparing for record flooding there. They have gotten bad news tonight saying that the river is going to rise even more than they expect. The chief says it's going to be devastating.
We've just been told 49 foot. So that will be devastating for this community. It really will.
Residents in the Starling Airport Road community spent all day sandbagging their homes, but the latest predictions may soon mean it won't be enough.
We're to the point now that if we hit 49 foot, the sandbagging is going to be, it's not going to hold it back. So we're going to lose probably anywhere from 100 to 150 new homes will be affected by this flood, if not more.
The problem is the numbers have risen from 45, which was the record back in '93, to 49, 4 feet in a matter of days, something that's been hard for residents to hear.
I can't comprehend anything right now. I can't.
Residents, though, are still hopeful that the rising waters will spare their homes.
We'll get through it.
Evacuations at this point are still only voluntary, but officials are urging everyone to be ready.
We're strongly recommending that people that are in those areas that are going to be flooded is to find other shelter, because we're supposed to crest by 1 o'clock tomorrow.
There is a shelter set up at First Baptist Church, and police will be monitoring the evacuated neighborhoods.
We're working officers 7 days a week right now, 12-hour shifts.
The mayor has requested the National Guard as they prepare for the worst flooding this area has ever seen.
It's going to be bad.
Again, the numbers do keep changing just a little bit, but the city says they are preparing for the river to crest around 1 o'clock tomorrow, between 1 and 5. So they really want everyone to be ready. Now, of course, News 4 is going to continue to stay on top of this historic flooding overnight and into tomorrow. Right now, our meteorologist, Megan Danahay, is checking on the other river levels. And Megan, how does it look right now?
Well, we are still going to see the rising waters where you are, Valley Park and Arnold, and then on the Mississippi in Chester. I do have some brand new information from the River Forecast Center at Arnold. This is brand new. They just released a new hydrograph. Right now, the current level at Arnold, the Merrimack, is at 46.46. It's about 46.5 inches. The crest, they say, should be at 47.2, and that's likely going to happen right around noon, so probably a little bit earlier than what we were just talking about in that story with Alexis. So probably close to noon, that 1 o'clock, earlier in that time window, and hopefully not as high as city officials were fearing at 47.2 feet. At Valley Park, we've also raised that crest just a touch. The level there is at 43.75. We'll see a crest around 6 a.m. at 44.2 feet. Of course, everybody in major flood stage right now, some of our smaller rivers coming down. Good news, the Merrimack at Pacific and Eureka, it has crested in both of those locations. So we have steady river levels at Pacific and Eureka. We have steady river levels at Winfield. We've got a crest at Hardin on the Illinois River coming at midnight tonight. And then the crest at Grafton comes at 6 a.m. The totals will be higher at Chester. Now remember, the Merrimack dumps into the Mississippi below St. Louis, so we'll still be in a major flood in St. Louis, but nowhere near the record. Chester will be close to a record as we near midnight Friday into Saturday. So hopefully some good news there for some folks as some of the rivers are stabilizing. Still more to come in Arnold and Valley Park, and at least I've got a dry forecast to talk about here in just a few minutes.
All right, Megan, thank you. And new tonight, officials are putting an evacuation advisory in place in one St. Charles County area. Fire crews advise Portage de Sioux residents to get out for the night in case of a levee breach there. They say if the levees fail, the city will be cut off by water in just a matter of hours.
And the city of Kmov in Jefferson County has been building a 10-foot levee to protect the historic downtown. Businesses began evacuating Monday as a precaution, and since then, volunteers have worked around the clock to fill more than 35,000 sandbags.
We really feel like, the levee's strong. They've been building it now for 3 days since Sunday morning, and it's gotten higher and higher each day. The plastics against it, the sandbags are there. So, we're just praying that it just all holds. There's no seepage or anything, so that everybody's safe.
Some roads and bridges are underwater, but so far damage has been minimal. The town did experience flood damage in '93, but they do not expect the water to reach those levels this time around. Because of this historic flooding and its impact on our communities, we are taking action to help people in need.
That's right. Kmov Cares is teaming up with the American Red Cross and Regions Bank to raise funds for local flood relief. You can visit any Regions Bank location in the Metro St. Louis area and make a donation to Kmov Cares Flood Relief. You can also call the American Red Cross Eastern Missouri at 314-516-2750 or mail a check to the American Red Cross of Eastern Missouri in Creve Coeur. Or you can go to kmov.com and click on a link to make an online donation. Again, all donations will stay in this area to help those who need help.
And be sure to download the Kmov weather app so you can stay up to date on weather watches and warnings. You can also track road closures. It's free in your phone's app store. We'll take you out back live to Steve Templeton in Sky Zoom 4. And Steve, I understand you have some new updated information on that situation there.
Yeah, the breaking news is that they are now moving southbound travelers on Interstate 55 at Merrimack Bottom Road again. Those headlights you see are moving southbound, and take a look at the amount of water. When they travel on the bridge, you can really see all the water that has overflowed. Those are all lanes. It's 4 or 5 lanes there, I believe, as you approach the Merrimack River Bridge on 55 going southbound, one at a time. The reason they're doing this is because they want to slow traffic a little bit to pump more water out to keep it safer. So that's why they had stopped traffic for a little bit, and now traffic, instead of 2 at a time, is going 1 at a time. Northbound on Interstate 55 is still shut down just south of 141. They'll likely start diverting those travelers off at 141. Hopefully they can get home safely. The Merrimack continues to rise, a little less than a foot more to go here in around the Arnold area. We are at the Merrimack Bottom Road, watching those cars traverse through water as they traverse the floodwaters of 2015 from the Merrimack River.
I've got a dry forecast ahead. We're going to see cold temperatures here over the next couple of days. I've got to look at that 7-day forecast next.
And News 4 continues to watch out for you. We're tracking the efforts to stop the floodwaters from overtaking Interstate 55. More, the latest of those efforts coming up on News 4 at 10. Welcome back tonight, News 4. Watching out for you as we track record-breaking flooding tonight. We continue to monitor the Interstate 55 situation as the Merrimack River is threatening to shut it down completely. Forewarned Chief Meteorologist Steve Templeton joins us live again from Sky Zoom with the latest. And Steve, among the issues tonight, the worries is where are those motorists that are trapped and stranded right now going to go with their cars if 55 is completely shut down?
It's a good question. Let's hope it doesn't get completely shut down. They did, for a time, have both lanes, northbound and southbound, shut down. Now, northbound, you can at least get off at 141. Southbound, when they shut down, it was temporary so that they could slow traffic down in order to pump more water out and make it safe. But when they let those southbound travelers go, they're driving through water. So the question is, how much longer do we have until they actually have to shut down even the southbound lanes, which are backed up all the way to where 270 and 255 merge with 55. So that could be a really interesting question, and I'm sure a frustrating one. What you're seeing in your screen there is the Arnold Water Tower on the left-hand side of the screen, and those are northbound travelers that you see. This was not this backed up earlier. It has backed up because they shut those northbound lanes down, and they're going to slowly let them come off at 141. The cars with the taillights on the right-hand side of your screen, see how sparse that is? Those are the few lucky ones that have actually made it across the waterlogged Merrimack Bottom and Interstate 55 area, and are now safely past that area and headed southbound on 55 past this major issue. So we continue to track the flooding, and the Merrimack again is going to rise another ½ a foot to a foot here in the Arnold area. So we'll continue to track it for you and watch how this nightmare in traffic unfolds.
News 4 investigates, uncovering scams and ripoffs, questioning government waste, watching out for you. Now, News 4's Chris Nagus.
Would you pay $500 for a piece of paper? If your car gets towed in some local communities, that's the ransom to get it back. But that money doesn't even cover the cost of the tow. It's a cash cow that's not sitting well with some car owners.
I think that's ridiculous.
Kiana Griffin is angry over the way she and her husband lost their 1995 Lincoln Town car, which has been sitting at a Madison, Illinois tow lot since July.
You weren't driving drunk. You weren't like arrested.
No.
You didn't do anything illegal leading up to this.
No, sir. Not
Your
at all.
car was just sitting on the street.
Yep.
Kiana parked in front of this church on an otherwise empty stretch of public road running through Brooklyn. She claims she left Vacation Bible School on a Sunday afternoon and discovered her car wouldn't start. So she left the car on the virtually deserted street for the night and went home. That was a costly mistake.
This is the police report here that states it was in a residential parking.
Brooklyn police had the car towed. Getting it back would mean forking over $500 in cash to cover the city's mandated tow release fee. After paying that fee, you get to pay the tow lot their fee.
Can you afford this?
No, not at all. I have $300 in my bank account right now.
The mayor of Brooklyn declined an on-camera interview and drove away when I arrived at City Hall. As I walked in to see the police chief, I ran into Marshall Benton.
This piece of paper cost me $500.
Marshall's car was towed because her son was pulled over in her vehicle. He was driving with a revoked license.
So if he's driving on a revoked license, should he get arrested?
I would think so.
But he was not arrested?
He was not arrested. He was let go, and I think they gave him some citations. What they told my bill. I was on the phone with them, letting them know I was on my way to come get my car. Can you just leave the car there? They told me no. I have to pay $500 if I want my car back.
If we left her vehicle there and it became vandalized, we'd be responsible for it.
Chief Kelvin Hammond told me his department doesn't make the rules, they simply enforce them. He says the release fees range from $150 to $500. The most expensive fees are considered level 1 violations. Both Marshall and Kiana were asked to pay $500 despite having their cars towed for very different reasons.
If she was parked in a residential area, yes.
So that's as bad as driving with a revoked license as parking on a residential street, a public street?
The citizens of Brooklyn was complaining because they were living close to the business district. People were coming in to the business district, parking in front of their homes, blocking their driveways.
Kiana says her car didn't block anyone's driveway. The chief says city ordinances prohibit parking between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. and that signs are posted. We didn't see any signs in the area where Kiana's car was towed.
Is that clearly marked?
That is correct. There are signs issued, posted at those locations, sir.
So there should be signs, because we didn't see, I'm just being honest, we didn't see any signs.
Okay.
Is that something we could go look at, or?
Sure, you can go look at it.
I mean, would you go with us?
No, I'm busy right now, sir.
Despite being unemployed at the time, Marshall was able to borrow $500 to get her car back. Nearly 4 months after Kiana's car was towed, it remains on the tow lot. I checked between January 1st of 2014 through September of this year. 956 other drivers paid tow release fees to Brooklyn for a total of $220,000. Chris Nagus, News 4.
The Forewarned Storm Team, certified St. Louis's most accurate forecast for 4 years in a row. Now, here's meteorologist Megan Danahay.
Our Shriners Hospital Eye on St. Louis camera providing a little different view. Unlike all of the headlights that you see trapped on 55, we have free-flowing traffic down Market Street. It is dry. You can see a lot of clouds there in that shot. We're pretty socked in by clouds, and temperatures are in the upper 20s to low 30s right now. This is pretty much where we'll stay throughout the overnight. With mostly cloudy skies, temperatures will fall off a few degrees. It will be pretty cold to start the day. We'll be in the 20s area-wide. You can see 24 at Vandalia, O'Fallon at 24, 25 in Baldwin, with wind chill readings closer to 20. So it's going to be really pretty cold when you walk out the door tomorrow morning. By lunchtime, we'll see partly sunny skies. We're only up to 32 degrees. Unfortunately, it's not a very warm day tomorrow, but we will see some good sunshine. And chills in the evening, probably in the mid-20s. So it will cool off very quickly, seeing as we're not going to get very warm during the day tomorrow. All the rain today is down across the southeast. In fact, we've seen other flood issues across parts of Charlotte down toward Atlanta. That's where all the rain is. Luckily, we have high pressure building into our region. The high pressure will keep us dry. It will give us some more sunshine, but it won't be a warm high pressure. Unfortunately, it is tapping into this colder air back off to our north and west. So it's tapping into 20s in Kansas City, 20s in Des Moines, single digits up in Fargo. So that cold influence will stick around over the next couple of days, but the high pressure does give us sinking stable air, which squashes any additional chances for rain. So more sunshine as we head through Thursday and Friday. Colder than normal. Those temperatures will be stuck in the 30s. We're supposed to be closer to 40 this time of year. So we're stuck in that cold northwest flow, but the forecast remains dry. Can't say that enough. No rain in the forecast. Your 4-degree guarantee for tomorrow, 36 degrees. That's the high for the final day of 2015. For New Year's Day, we wake up with 23. Pretty chilly start to the new year. 34 the high on New Year's Day. The weekend looks great. Cold mornings, chilly afternoons, but temperatures a little bit back above normal in the low 40s. And then we're back in the low to mid 40s next week. And I've looked at all my computer models and digging around for the rain chances. They're really pretty far out. We're talking January 7th, so we're going to have a good long time to dry out here.
What a mess and what a way to end 2015. All right.
Maurice Drummond will be in next with sports. We give you a look once again from Sky Zoom 4. This is live over Interstate 55 where the Merrimack River is threatening to close down the highway completely. We'll have more coming up on News 4 at 10.
You're looking at live pictures of southbound travelers on Interstate 55 at Merrimack Bottom Road. MoDOT is fighting a valiant fight to try and keep the Merrimack from taking over Interstate 55, but that water you see is the Merrimack River. And one at a time, cars are traveling southbound through that water right now. The question is how much longer that can go. Keep in mind, during flash floods, we don't know how deep the water is. It's usually moving faster. This is different. They know how deep the water is. It's not moving as fast. But MoDOT, no doubt, is keeping a close eye on things, and we don't know how much longer those southbound lanes and travelers can continue to pass one at a time very slowly here. Northbound travelers diverted at 141 to Lee May Ferry Road and traveling safely on Lee May Ferry across the river. That's northbound travelers. Live in Sky Zoom 4 at I-55 and Merrimack Bottom Road. Steve Templeton, News 4.
News 4 Sports, driven by Toyota.
After 10 years of frustration in Seattle, Rams defensive end Chris Long having some fun with the Seahawks fans on Sunday. Yeah, they celebrated another victory in the NFC West. And this Sunday, a win over the 49ers would give the Rams a season sweep in what could be their final game as the St. Louis Rams. Talk some college hoops now. Illinois taking on Michigan in their Big Ten opener this afternoon. Pick it up first half. Off the steal, the Illini. On the break, Kendrick Nunn all the way for the bucket and the foul. The Illini had a 3-point lead on Michigan at halftime. Second half now, the Wolverines taking control. Mark Donnell heats up for Michigan with the three. Donnell with 26 points in the contest. Illinois drops their Big Ten opener to Michigan. 78-68 was that final. To the preps now, holiday tournament action. It's coaches versus cancer over at Merrimack. CBC taking on Hazelwood Central. The Cadets shooting it from downtown. Lee Richmond from way out knocks down a three. But the Hawks of Central say, hey, whatever you can do, we can do better. Steve Holloway with the lefty three goes down for Central. And back come the Hawks. It's Sean Williams putting some heat on that CBC defense, the driving layup, and Central takes the Coaches versus Cancer Championship game 79-69, the final over CBC. And finally, Jason Tatum and his Chaminade Red Devils host some Soldan in their tournament championship game. Tigers trying to stay within striking distance. Soldan on the run. Rashad Amos in for the layup. but the Red Devils are so tough, they work the ball around to the senior. Jason Tatum, he's headed for Duke, and that's headed for a jumper, goes down for 2, and then later it's Jadis White from the corner, the triple, and Chaminade captures their own holiday tournament championship, 93-54 the final over Soldan. Some great tournament action, and always fun watching Mr. Tatum go to work.
He's a keeper, isn't he?
He is an absolute keeper. Duke is going to love that guy.
I think so. All right, thank you, Maurice. We're going to go back to Sky Zoom 4 over the scene at I-55 and 141. Well, first, though, we want to say a goodbye to a longtime employee. We're going to miss you, Deb Abbott. Tonight is her last night at Kmov. She's been a beloved employee here since 1978. Courtney, you've just gotten a taste of Deb Abbott. I've had the pleasure of the full flavor of Deb Abbott for 21 plus years.
Deb Abbott from day one is Deb Abbott, and we'll certainly miss her sense of humor and the unique flair she brings to us every day. Deb, we love you, and we wish you the very, very best.
She'll be back, not to work, but I'm sure she's going to be happy in retirement, but she'll be back to visit. Now we want to go back again to Sky Zoom 4 over the scene at Interstate 55 and 141. Again, the southbound lanes are open for how much longer, we don't know. They're driving through water in the southbound lanes, and we're told, as Steve Templeton updated us just a few minutes ago, although northbound lanes are closed, they're now letting them exit the highway onto 141. We'll continue to follow this situation. More on News 4 at 10 coming up.
As we continue to deal with all of this historic flooding across the area, remember News 4 this morning will have all the news making headlines overnight tomorrow starting at 4 a.m.
I'll leave you to look at Sky Zoom 4, still monitoring the flooding tonight near I-55. Be sure to catch the update here on Kmov as well as on our mobile app. Of course, News 4 this morning starting at 4 will have the very latest. Stay safe. Have a great night. We'll see you back here tomorrow.